So, what we have here now, most of you have the egg shape. And if you're still in edit mode, we're going to come out of edit mode into object mode. You can hit tab to come back out. Cool? Now, you might notice our origin is now sitting towards the head, which is, okay, but not really. Okay, we don't want that, especially because this is going to be a physically moving object. We want to make sure that its origin is in the right place. Now, why do we want that? It's because everything spawns from a point inside Blender. This thing here is a three-dimensional cursor. Word of warning, you can actually move it. Try not to. And if you have to do it, and it does move, because sometimes you need to move it to make something jump to that point, you can always reset it by this is really the one thing that's annoying about Blender, is this tiny little arrow. I'm just going to move my mouse around it. If I click on that, that opens up the transformation properties, okay? And somewhere along this hierarchy, you have your transformation, location, rotation, and scale. This is for the object. For the world, origin, which is that little point in time, is located, I believe, in Tools, Creation, View. It's your three-dimensional cursor. Make sure it's always on 0. Okay? That's really, really important. Now, what we want to do, and the reason why we want it on 0, is for this reason. Now, I can make this object jump to a point inside three-dimensional space. Great if you need it. But right now, we don't need it. We want our origin and our object to be in the exact same place in the center. All right, so I got my object selected by just clicking on it. And now right-clicking, or if you're using a trackpad, I think most of them are just 2-finger clicks, you come up with the object context menu. Set origin, right here. You're going to geometry to origin or origin to geometry. Oh man, that's a mouthful. Origin to geometry. You click on that one, it will snap your origin point back to the center, okay? Our 3D cursor, that's fine. As long as it stays there, but that's there, that's fine, okay? That point, because, and I'll show you why. If I go Command Z, I hit rotate. You see how it's rotating on this axis, on its head. Not fun, especially if we need to move things around.
So it's like a point of reference.
It's the point of reference, exactly. Set origin to geometry. I rotate now. You'll see it's more of a proper rotation. If I go back into the X view, it can rotate and spin freely on that point. Okay, it's a center point of rotation.
How do you rotate?
R. So R on the keyboard rotates. G on the keyboard moves or grabs. And what's the other one that you'll need? Double R, so click it twice, and it's freeform rotation. So you'll notice if I go R, I can rotate only on this axis. If I go R in this axis, and this is why I say never animate in 3 dimensions, because if I hit R, what's actually happening here, it's not rotating on that center axis, it's actually rotating like this. All right? It doesn't understand that you're looking in a 3-dimensional view. It's just going to start moving it. So to rotate on any other axis, you can either hit Z and rotate on that axis. You hit Y, rotate on this axis, and so on. So I'm just going to reset back to its original. Freeform rotation is fine in 3-dimensional animating because you will need it to get that pelvis to jiggle. So R twice on the keyboard gives you freeform rotation. So if you want to do something like a, let's say a twitchy character, I can hit my automatic keyframe and then I can use my hand to create twitches. This is impossible to keyframe. How do you keyframe a natural hand twitch? It's just not normal.
So when you do the keyframe, it records the movement?
It records the movement. So if I was to click on, I could click on that, hit play, double R, and then do twitch movements. You'll see those things appearing at the bottom. Those are keyframes.
So that's what you did with the wing, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. Exactly. So Command Z, Z, and Z some more. All right, back to our little piggy here. So right now we got our egg shape. This, I'm going to decide, some of you might be on the x-axis, some of you might be on the y-axis. It doesn't actually matter which axis is it on. As long as you have an egg shape, and you can see it from that view, we're going to make its legs first. So if I was to go me on the y, some of you, as long as you can see this point, which is the face point, it can be either side, it doesn't matter, but as long as one of the short sides, that's going to be our face. Now once again, it's all about efficiency with Blender. Make it as efficient as possible. Don't reinvent the wheel. I know they said that this morning, but for this, definitely don't reinvent anything. All right, Shift D duplicates once again. I'm going to free move it out here. Now this is where things get a bit more interesting, because now that I have this egg shape, now I've got two of them. The only thing I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go to my side view. I'm going to hit R on the keyboard, which rotates. And I'm just going to free rotate it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, here's a trick. Okay, if I hit R on the keyboard just once, and then I type the word number 90, and it, oh wait, 90 degrees. So let me try that again. R 90. It does a 90-degree rotation. If you're that eager to make a perfect rotation, otherwise, if you go up to Item and then type in 90. Now, I should warn you guys. You see how this is yellow?
Yeah.
It's because I have my keyframe animation active. Turn it off. And if you did do a keyframe, X, delete the keyframe. X, by the way, deletes things. All right, so we got a rotated egg. I'm going to jump back to my front view. So what you should see is the front of the face and then this egg shape. The next tool that we're going to use is our scaling tool. Can anyone guess what letter on the keyboard that's going to be? Here we go. S, scale, freeform scaling. I'm just moving the mouse up and down, like so. If I want to move my leg to the body, what key am I going to click on the keyboard? G, perfect. Just like the students. Click and just roughly put it where you want your first leg to be. Like so. Now, on face value, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, that's in the right place. Well, it really isn't. So if I go into my side view, you can see that's actually in the center. We don't want it there. G on the keyboard again. We're just going to move it to where the front of my piggy is. Oh, I don't know. Let's say there. And this is where you see what I mean by this project is easier to understand, because stylized characters, there's no rule about where geometry goes. It's a whatever thing. And that's what makes it a bit more fun. And it's meant to be an engaging project. So right now I've got one leg. Perfect, right? It's in where we want it. Once again, no point in reinventing anything. There's no point in me trying to duplicate this over and over again and try to put it exactly in the right spot. This is where we're going to use another modifier. All right, I'm just going to jump into my face view again. Over here, once again, to the spanner, the modifier properties. You'll see our subdivision surface is still active, which is fine, it can stay active. Up here where it says add a modifier. If I click on this, what I'm going to be looking for is the mirror modifier. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Nothing happens yet, because you need to tell it which axis you want the mirror to appear on. For us, because I'm lazy, I want it to appear on 4 sides. So I'm just going to rotate this so you guys can sort of see it. I want it first, the mirroring plane, which is this object, mirror object, click on my eyedropper, and then head over to my body and click on that. It automatically puts the leg on the other side, but we want some on the back. So generally it's going to be the Y, and now there's 4. So X, Y, we got 4 little leggies. Any questions with that?
Do you think you
All right, I will I will stop the recording.